Hello everyone, we're back with more tributes, so welcome to another video on our channel News Faster. This video features a list of American legends who died recently or within the last few days. Number 1. Alan Rachins. Alan Rachins, who played the hippie father of Jenna Elfman's character on Dharma and Greg, and the brash legal partner Douglas Brackman Jr. on L.A. Law for 13 seasons, passed away on Saturday. He was 82. Actress Joanna Frank, Rachins' wife, told The Hollywood Reporter that her husband passed away in the early hours of the morning at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles from heart failure. After meeting in an acting class, he and Frank got married in 1978. She played his tussling wife, Sheila Brackman, on L.A. Law, and they were a married pair in Always, 1985. Which was written and directed by independent filmmaker Henry Jaglom. In what some may consider a kinky coincidence, Rachins played Tony Moss, the ruthless two-paid director of the topless dancing extravaganza at the Stardust Casino in Paul Verhoeven's Showgirls, 1995, and was one of the disrobing cast members in the original stage production of Oh, Calcutta. When assembling the legal team for NBC's L.A. Law, Frank's late younger brother, the renowned TV writer-producer Stephen Bocco, had his brother-in-law in mind for the Mackenzie, Brackman, Cheney, and Cusack co-founder role. Bocco and lawyer-novelist Terry Louise Fisher co-created The Chic Show. Rachins later appeared in all but one of the 172 episodes of the 8th season, 1986-94, 20th Century Fox-produced series, and in 1988, he was nominated for an Emmy and a Golden Globe. The conceited Brackman was frequently the target of his co-workers' jests. In a 1990 interview with the New York Times, Rachins recalled, "In the pilot episode, there was nothing of the more flamboyant or bizarre side of Douglas. He was going to be the hardline office manager, the penny pincher. It was somewhat constrained, and I had no idea where it was headed. However, it soon became much more colorful and flamboyant." Rachins returned to primetime on Dharma and Greg after the successful run of L.A. Law, which won 4 Emmys for Outstanding Drama Series, ended. He played Larry Finkelstein, the crazy hippie father of a yoga instructor, Elfman, who was married to a lawyer, Thomas Gibson. From 1997 to 2002, he appeared in all 199 episodes of that sitcom, which aired for 5 seasons. Finkelstein, the rebel of the 1960s, and the buttoned-up Brackman couldn't have been more different. According to him, the parts were like night and day. Born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, on October 3, 1942, Alan Leonard Rachins was raised in Boston as an only child. Edward, his father, owned a food production company that produced flavored syrups, cake toppers, and ice cream toppings. At the age of 11, his mother, Ida, passed away. After graduating from Brookline High School, Rachins attended Penn's Wharton School for 2 years before relocating to New York to pursue an acting career. He received instruction from Kim Stanley and Warren Robertson, and in 1967 he debuted on Broadway in After the Rain. Oh, Calcutta, a musical revue that opened in June 1969 at the Eden Theatre, which used to be a venue for X-rated films, featured him in the buff for roughly 18 months. Future Maude actor Bill Macy is also in the cast. At a 2020 L.A. Law reunion organized by Stars in the House, he stated, "Before that day came, when we actually took off the ropes together, we went through a very intense month-long rehearsal." As an actor in Oh, Calcutta, he often heard the comment, "I didn't recognize you with your clothes on," when he first met someone. "I must have heard that alleged joke 30 times, and every time I heard it, I became less and less amused by it." Rachins was admitted to AFI's writing and directing schools in Los Angeles in 1972. He worked as director Arthur Penn's AFI intern on The Missouri Breaks, 1976. He wrote for shows like Hill Street Blues, Heart to Heart, and The Fall Guy. He also directed an episode of Paris, starring James Earl Jones. Bocco also produced Paris and Hill Street Blues. His stint with Jaglom put his acting career back on track. Number 2. James Leadbetter. James Leadbetter, a trailblazing media critic with a sizable readership across multiple outlets for his incisive analysis, passed away from a heart attack at his Manhattan home on Monday. His family informed the media that he was 60 years old. Leadbetter, a Yale graduate, had a successful career in the media. During the 1990s, when media criticism was starting to truly emerge into the mainstream, he published the well-liked Press Clips column for the Village Voice. He has previously written speeches for Brooklyn District Attorney Elizabeth Holtzman. After that, he worked as a media critic at the New York Observer and an editor at 7 Days magazine. After joining The Voice in 1990, he went on to become a web editor at Fortune, a senior editor at Time magazine, and the editor of The Big Money, a business spin-off of Slate, an online magazine. Leadbetter has held positions as Chief Content Officer of Clarim Media, publisher of Worth magazine, executive editor of Observer Media, producer of the online version of the New York Observer, head of content at Sequoia Capital, and opinion editor at Reuters. He was most recently an editor at KPMG, a management consulting business. In the process, he also rose to the position of chief editor at Incorm magazine and began writing a well-liked financial technology Substack column. In 1998, Leadbetter wrote a notable column about the New York Post, criticizing the state of New York for granting the newspaper a $12.9 million economic development grant to prevent it from relocating to New Jersey. Why, taxpayers wonder, should a portion of our hard-earned wages go to the paper that constantly gripes about everyone else's welfare check? He wrote, especially since Rupert Murdoch, a billionaire, owns that paper. As seen by a 1995 inquiry criticizing the unbearable whiteness of magazine and book publishing in New York, Leadbetter was also an early supporter of diversity in the media. Like firefighting, New York's print media industries have at least one important thing in common. They have been protected from the city's demographic changes over the past few decades, he said. Leadbetter rose to the position of bureau chief for The Industry Standard, a publication that covered the internet in New York. Once heavily reliant on advertisements, the journal went down in the 2001 dot-com bust. In his book, Starving to Death on 200 Million: The Short, Absurd Life of the Industry Standard, Leadbetter discussed the publication's demise and the reasons behind it. Additionally, he authored the books Made Possible by The Death of Public Television in the United States, 1997, and One Nation Under Gold, 2017. He is survived by his sisters Kathleen Leadbetter Richelle and Laura Baird, a son, Henry, and his parents. He was separated from his wife, Erin Buckland. Number 3. Greg Hilderbrand. One of fantasy and sci-fi's all-time greats has passed away. Greg Hilderbrand passed away on Thursday at the age of 85. He was renowned for his work on Marvel, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Magic: The Gathering. Prior to deciding to pursue individual careers in 1981, he and his twin brother Tim, who passed away in 2006, were a formidable duo known as the Brothers Hilderbrand. The pair's 1977 Style B poster for the first Star Wars is arguably their most well-known work. The artwork depicts Luke Skywalker valiantly raising his lightsaber far over his head, much like King Arthur did with Excalibur, and was first released in the UK. Tom Jung's Style A was the initial US poster. Princess Leia brandishing a blaster stands at his sides as C-3PO and R2-D2 watch from behind. In the background, amidst a sea of stars, the Death Star and starfighters, Darth Vader's intimidating mask looks down on them. Regarding Luke and Leia's striking similarity to Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, the actors' pictures were not available to either Jung or the brothers Hilderbrand. They therefore had to settle for generic hero graphics that might have been lifted from fantasy book covers from the 1970s. Even if not screen accurate, it's still awesome. Tom Chantrell's Style C poster, which included the real actors, took the place of the Hilderbrand poster in the UK in January 1978. A number of the Lord of the Rings calendars were also closely linked to the brothers. For many 1970s fantasy readers, their artwork, which drew inspiration from vintage Disney films, was the most notable visualization of Tolkien's epic. Decades before Peter Jackson brought the films to life, and even before the 1978 animated version. Hilderbrand's numerous other endeavors included graphics for Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering, and Harry Potter, comics for Marvel and DC, magazines Omni, Heavy Metal, and Amazing Stories, album art for Black Sabbath and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and a lengthy list of book covers. Hilderbrand used his artistic talents to fight for freedom as well. He provided artwork for Operation USA's benefit anthology comic book series following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Profits were given to aid initiatives for Ukrainian refugees. Any project that I can lend my art to that will thwart Putin is a project I will join with all my heart, soul, and mind, he stated in an explanation of his choice. Number 4. Dub Jones. The Cleveland Browns confirmed the death of Dub Jones, a 1950s NFL standout who once scored 6 touchdowns in a single game in Ruston, Louisiana on Saturday. He was 99 years old. Jones, who played for the Browns from 1946 to 1955, was a halfback, defensive back, wingback, and tailback at different times throughout his 10-year professional career. He won 2 titles in the All-America Football Conference, the Browns' initial league, and 3 NFL titles during Cleveland's heyday. After graduating from college, the LSU and Tulane product immediately joined the AAFC, playing with the Brooklyn Dodgers and Miami Seahawks before joining the Browns. Jones helped Cleveland's NFL championship teams in 1950, 1954, and 1955, after winning the AAFC in 1948 and 1949. In 1950-1951, he was awarded an All-Pro. Fans who are interested in trivia remember Jones for his accomplishment on November 25, 1951. Jones scored all 6 of Cleveland's touchdowns, 2 through the air and 4 on the ground, in the Browns' 42-21 victory over the Chicago Bears. Jones, Bears halfback Gale Sayers in 1965, New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara in 2020, and Duluth Eskimos fullback Ernie Neves in 1926 are the only 4 NFL players to score 6 touchdowns in a single game.